Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Monsterverse video. So, obviously, the Monsterverse has been a very successful franchise. It's done really well, and to be honest with you, in terms of quality, it's been pretty consistent. I know that some people don't like the tonal shift from like Godzilla 2014 to, Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. Personally, I just think that this is the way to go. Obviously, mainly because of Chucky, I have come to appreciate films with like darker tones and that are less goofy. Because of course, anyone who watches the Chucky franchise knows that Chucky has had probably it's the most tonally different franchise. You have like the first three movies, which are like comedy horror. And then you have Bride and Seed of Chucky, where he literally has sex and jacks off and has a non-binary child with a split personality disorder. Then you have Curse and Cult of Chucky, which are freaking creepy as hell. And then you have the Chucky show where he gets his balls touched and is jacked. I don't know, man. It's a whole ordeal. But anyway, with the Monsterverse, of course, you don't really have, it kind of makes sense. It's logical. Because, of course, with all these monsters, it's not going to be like all realistic. You're in the Hollow Earth now. Thanks to Godzilla vs. Kong, they, of course, opened this plethora of ideas they can play with. But we've had a solid run with the Monsterverse. We've had the Godzilla movie from 2014. Yes, Godzilla is barely in that movie, but oh boy, am I going to appreciate that now that I've seen the New Empire and how little he's in that. Then we got Kong Skull Island. Oh my god, I love that movie. It does, in my opinion, have the best characters of the Monsterverse, human-wise. But yeah, I always love the concept of King Kong and his movies, of these people going to the island and then finding all these weird creatures. I love Kong Skull Island. Then we got Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019, a film which is very divisive, a film that I know many people don't like. I personally have always loved it. It was the first Godzilla movie that I saw in cinemas that doesn't really that doesn't affect my opinion on the movie. Is the human stuff boring? Yeah, but I'm not as annoyed with it as most people are. I don't know. The monster action kind of overshadows that for me. Even though there's a lot of human stuff, I enjoy the action scene so much that it actually overshadows it. I don't know, man. I freaking love King of the Monsters. I really do. And that's why I was so excited for Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021. And that was just a fucking awesome movie. Hell, I even got a Godzilla, like a Team Godzilla shirt, which I wore for my trailer reaction of Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. And I love that movie. I really do love Godzilla vs. Kong. It is my favorite film of the Monsterverse. And yeah, I just loved the kind of more sci-fi-esque route they went with it, and the fact that the monsters were more of characters this time. And yes, obviously, I was always a Godzilla fan, but this movie really made me love Kong. I really loved him, and hell, he was really adorable and expressive. Godzilla was, of course, the more animalistic of the two, which really I didn't have a problem with. My only problem with the movie is that Godzilla could have had a little bit more screen time. Okay, a lot more screen time. Then we get Godzilla and Kong the New Empire 3 years later. And again, another Kong movie. I'm not going to go over that much because I did just do my spoiler review, like, I don't know when this is uploaded, but as of filming it, it was yesterday. But yeah, I'm not going to talk that much about it. Editing Chave here. It has been, okay, so Godzilla and Kong the New Empire has already made $194 million worldwide. Just to put that in, that is the highest box office opening of 2024 so far. And just to put it into perspective for how well the movie is doing, in just over 2 weeks, Dune Part 2, which has really just shattered the box office currently, has made 494 million, so almost $500 million, right? That has been 2 weeks, 16 days. Okay, 16 days. Godzilla and Kong have made nearly, well, okay, let's say just less than half of that in 3 days. So hopefully the movie will just keep on going and people will go and see it just as much as they did opening weekend, because obviously there will be plenty of people going and rewatching and rewatching. So yeah, man, the movie is doing pretty well. Obviously, while yes, I disagree with several of the choices in it, oh man, I want it to do well, because that means the next one can be even better. So back to you, Pal Chave. But now what's next for the Monsterverse? Because as my last video just said, Adam Wingard has said that if he directs the next Godzilla and Kong movie, Godzilla will be the main character. What Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire was for Kong, this is what the sequel will be for Godzilla. He will be the main character. He will be developed. He will get all the emotion, which is what I wanted from The New Empire. I don't know why they put Godzilla in the title. I don't even know why they bothered putting him in the movie. The movie was made as Son of Kong. It started off as the Son of Kong storyline. So I don't really know why they didn't just go through with it instead of just pissing us Godzilla fans off by, teasing us with him. It's like foreplay, except there was nothing after that. But anyway, that over with. This is my plan for the Monsterverse, right? Obviously, I don't really see the point in giving either of them a solo movie between the New Empire and the next crossover film. So what I think is that we got Godzilla versus Kong in 2021. 3 years later, 2024, we get Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. Then in 3 years, we get, in 2027, we get the next movie, which I don't really know what they can call it. Because to be honest with you, I don't really know what the premise could even be. Because yes, obviously it's going to be another team-up movie, but that's not all there needs to be, because you need a story surrounding it, because we've had this problem, like with Halloween Ends. They were like, okay, we're going to have a nice fight at the end with Michael and Laurie, but we need to get there first. So they just came up with a random bullshit along the way. Oh, love story, yada, yada, yada. Have Michael in it for like 2 minutes. And then finally we get the final battle. That's what happened with Halloween Ends. But the Monsterverse is smart. They know how to do a proper action story. So I don't really know what they can do for this next movie. Obviously, I don't think that they should choose an original villain. I think they need to go with an original Toho villain, but I don't know many of them. Okay, I know that people love Destroyer and a few others that I can't really think of currently. But yeah, I don't know any of them. So to me, they will be original. But obviously, for fans, they will of course be fan favorites. So yeah, I think in 2027 we should get the next Godzilla and Kong film, and hopefully there they get more or less equal screen time. But then I won't be that upset if Godzilla doesn't get as much screen time, because for 2030, I think it would be good if we get Godzilla 3. Godzilla will finally have his trilogy of films, and I'm really, really happy with that, because I hope that whatever it is, right, whatever it is, whether it's Ghidorah coming back or anything like that, whether it's Destroyer or whatever, we need the other Titans to come in, because Godzilla, the last time we saw Godzilla as an actual character, he was the king of the monsters, okay? It was the title of the film. He became king of the monsters. He ruled over all of them. Then Godzilla vs. Kong kind of played on that, and they tried to slightly retcon it with the beginning, saying all these other Titans have been quote unquote defeated, and Godzilla and Kong are the last ones standing. So obviously they did just kind of hint at that. They didn't confirm it, which is why we see other Titans like Skylar and all the other ones introduced still alive. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of been a wasted concept, Godzilla becoming the king of the monsters and then not using that to his advantage. Because in Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, I felt he was very out of character. Not just the fact that he was diving off cliffs and jumping and shit. It's just that, yes, of course, he needed to evolve, but I don't know. Godzilla just doesn't strike me as the character who would actively just go into a Titan's territory and kill them for it. But obviously, again, you can easily use the excuse he needed to evolve, which, fair enough. And also, to be fair to Godzilla, the entire world is his territory, so fair enough. But yeah, I think that Godzilla 3 is, it needs to happen because, of course, Godzilla hasn't had a movie in 5 years. Kong hasn't had a movie in about 2 days. Okay, we need Godzilla to come back with a vengeance. And speaking of Kong, yes, I know he's had Kong Skull Island, and both of the crossover films were his solo movies. But I feel there's no better way to, give Kong his quote unquote solo movie. Like, by that, I mean, like, he's the only main Titan. There's no Godzilla, no Mothra, none of that. I think that 3 years after Godzilla 3, in 2033, I know that doesn't sound like a real year, in 2033, we get Kong's solo movie titled King Kong. And yes, obviously, it will be slightly confusing for, casual audience members because, of course, they'll be like, wait, this movie is called King Kong, but the 2005 movie was also called King Kong. And my response to that is, who gives a shit? There's 3 movies called Halloween. Okay, I don't care, and they're from the same franchise. But yeah, I think that in 2033, you need to have King Kong, like a King Kong film, because that will celebrate the 100 years since the original movie. Yes, a whole century since the original King Kong. Back when it was black and white, it was stop motion. And I think that that'll just be the coolest thing in the world because, yes, obviously, while I am against Kong getting more solo movies, he's had enough. I cannot help but just crave a King Kong film in 2033. That needs to happen, please. Obviously, Godzilla getting his movie and then Kong getting his movie after, the final Godzilla and Kong crossover does sound a bit strange, but I don't know. They could, obviously, because you've had Godzilla versus Kong, then Godzilla and Kong the New Empire. Then, of course, you'd be like, well, the next movie is obviously going to be a crossover as well. But then you'd have a solo movie, then another team up movie, and then another solo movie. It just feels weird. So yeah, I don't really know where the Monsterverse would go after that, but yeah, to me that just makes sense. Please let me know what your thoughts are on this. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What movies would you add in between? I know that people would like a solo Mothra film, which I'm down with that. Mothra, Rodan, hell, actually, no, not the Muto, please. The Muto had the 2014 Godzilla movie. So, yeah, just let me know your thoughts on what I have said on my plans on the Monsterverse. Give me movies that you think should happen in between. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.